Hey guys, it's Wade here. I'm in my cockpit. As you can see, I've got the canopy closed. And I'm happy to report that I finally figured out over the last month and a half, the secret to getting my canopy latch to work as I have wanted it to. I did a couple videos mid to late 2020. Yes, it's been that long. And I was kind of bemoaning the fact that I was having issues with this canopy latch. So, as you could see from the beginning sequence, I have figured it out and it's working very well. And I would like to give a shout out to both Mike Bowden, who had the original dimensions and really helped me get the initial setup for this canopy latch and the handle. And then also, as I mentioned in one of my recent videos where I showed the machining of this part right here, this middle block, Howard Kalk from Maryland, he really helped me out as I was able to copy some of his design. This T setup right here, which allows it to flex, that solved the issue of all my machinations back in 2020 that I had a lot of you comment on. And thanks for those comments. Clearly something needed to change, and I think this fits the bill, as you'll clearly see. So I'm going to go ahead and operate it now. And that allows me to, I have to pull this, sorry for, so there we go. Have to put a little pressure on that. While I have some light, I'll kind of go over some of the reconfiguration that I had to do. I don't know if you remember, but in some of my reporting, I showed that I had a matchbook sized light switch box here. I want to be able to control the gallon back lights in case somebody falls asleep back there, or just for any reason whatsoever. If it's daylight and I forget the lights on and I need to turn it off, this is the master switch for those lights. Well, it was about twice as high, and then I had an actual another switch in there, just an extra one that I ran the wires up front, and that was I just had it kind of jokingly, I had it labeled as a flux capacitor. Well, I had to go down to one switch and I had to flatten it out so that I could get this underneath, because what was happening, and I don't have it installed, but right in here is where the safety catch comes down. It's the stainless steel safety catch, and so that safety catch was going to hit this if this wasn't enough outboard. So I had to completely reconfigure this light. And then I machined this. This is an oil sleeve bearing. Obviously, I've got the Heim style fitting here. This is an AN3 bolt that goes through here. This is a sleeve. The sleeving here is just this right here, and this is an extra block. So I was able to use off-the-shelf, quote-unquote, components. And then I did have to machine this longer rod right here, right in here. This is the original rod that I machined out of aluminum, and then of course I recently finished the handle. So let me set this down if I can get a good angle. I will close the canopy. Now again, you might have noticed in the opening sequence the number 2 hook, and I have 4 of them because I have a rather large canopy. I'll pause just a second so you can see the over center. That's the over center that I was looking for before. But I have to push in when I'm closing it from the inside, or pull out just a hair on that number 2 hook. Again, the way the configuration is, everything's so darn tight. Now I want to show you this. This is the safety catch. As far as, I didn't want to have me reaching out for any controls here. And yes, the original panel looks somewhat nasty, but it is strong. And the overlay, the aluminum overlay for the panel, just as a side note, is much more attractive than the original skeleton of the old panel. But I needed the skeleton here to put plate nuts into, so that I could attach these things. So again, this thing is pretty darn strong. It's the original super 16-pound foam, and then I've got carbon fiber over it, and I've got extra plies in the back. Okay, so anyway, that's the extra strong, really crazy looking panel. But this right here is just a flip forward, and I've got to dial it in a little bit, but it's good enough now, and it's good enough for flying. But I've got it hooked up to show you that it closes a switch, and it uses that switch block up there. But it uses that switch block up there. Here's a short little video I did on that. I have the internal canopy lock here. Here's the instrument panel right here, and then in front of the instrument panel is the Microswitch block with the trigger on there. So I took the wires out of this conduit right here. You'll see it when I remove my hand. That's a strip of Nyloflow. So this doesn't sit down flat because I need to dial it in. I'm going to show you when I flip this forward. You can hear that, and then that blocks this. I'd like it to stay a little bit more vertical, and then when I put it down, I'd like it to be a little bit more flat. So again, I have to dial it in, but one more time, flip this up. That keeps this locked. There's about maybe 1/8 of an inch play. And I want to show you, which I didn't show obviously in the video that I just injected here, but one thing I didn't show on that was this right here. I'm pulling out on this handle, and as you can see, there's no effect on this at all. So that's just a good little catch right there. It also arms, I know it's kind of loud, but that's why I left it like that. It closes a switch. It'll actually be connected to a relay, and then that relay will operate a couple different functions as far as the gear and canopy alarms system, the enunciation system. So again, this is my highly functioning and highly operational Canopy Latch system for the most part, but specifically the handle setup here. Again, I'll open this again. You can see how that throws out quickly. It's got quite a good snap, which is what I was looking for before. Again, I'm going to set this up on my leg so you can kind of see it. Hopefully it doesn't fall. And then there we go. Couple little pressure points as I'm opening and closing, but that's fine. It keeps everything nice and tight. But here's the handle. And again, you saw this from the outside on the opening sequence. So I just wanted to show you that. A big thumbs up. Everything is good on this. I think it'll probably not be so tight as everything kind of works into its own groove. But I needed to get this done, and I need to get the canopy set so that I can continue to work the center line of the aircraft as far as the nose hatch up there. I don't have it closed, but I have finalized the configuration on that to get that darn thing to open and close easily, and it does. I've actually got a little flip down guard for that. I'm still in the final developing stages here so that I don't inadvertently open it in flight. But again, here's that. Okay, so thanks for watching. Cheers.